Hey guys, today I want to talk about retiring early. And there is a way to retire early where you don't even have to work. You could actually retire and still be saving money. And let me get into this a little bit. There is ways that you can live fairly cheap in the Philippines. But when you're retired, you want to get out, you want to do things, you want to go to the mall, you want to go do something, you want to go out and travel, you want to go up to Manila for the day or what have you, you want to go visit friends or whatever. There is a way to come over here that you can come over here, and if you can keep your spending under control and you get a cheap rental over here, such as like where I live here, and I'm very comfortable here. As you can see, I'm still working on my tin sign collection here, and I'm not done yet. This room here, we're still in the works. I'm trying to do some things in here. I got my TV up now, and I got you can see the cigar box guitar up there, and the other one belongs to a friend of mine, and I'm trying to make it home here. But if you come over here and you just do hobbies, maybe learn guitar or learn some instrument, saxophone or something like that, and really piss off your neighbors or whatever with their barking dog, that'll really fix them. But, come over here and get a hobby, maybe an instrument. I've always wanted to learn how to use an instrument, like such as a guitar or harmonicas, things like that. I did it when I was young, and I never really had the time because I was always hanging out with my friends or doing something. So I never had that chance to learn. But let me get into this. If you come over here and you rent cheap, and you don't go for these $300 places down in Dumaguete, but you come to a place that's kind of quiet and nice, has malls that you can go walk around in during the day, whatever, and keep yourself busy and healthy, and don't go out to eat too much. If you do that and you can keep it under 1,000, I'll bet you could. But you're not going to be really living per se. But if you can tamp things down a little bit and be okay with that for a while, and then put money aside both for, future savings or whatever, you could live like that for 5 years and bank some money. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I have a lot of people back home and they say, Steve, man, I'm back here. I can barely make ends meet anymore. Back in New England, we're working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. Never mind saving for retirement. We can't even put money into our retirement. It sucks. It's horrible, And I feel for you guys. But if you have a pension, number one, or you have your Social Security, some guys that are lucky enough that they have a pension, this will work for you, because you can like some municipalities, some states, or if you have a government job, they let you retire early at 55 or 59 or 57 or what have you, 56. It depends on where you work. Some places even 50, as low as 50 if you're lucky enough to work in a place like that. And some companies also have pension plans too. What I'm trying to get at here is, if you can leave and take less money or something like that, and you might be 5 or 7 years out from retirement or something, and you can grab to where you have enough money anyway, you can come over here and just basically collect, let's say you're getting $2,000 a month or $1,500 a month, and you can bank $500 or bank $1,000 or bank $1,500 a month and save up for, let's say, and you move into, let's say, a furnished apartment. That saves you a little bit of money too. Move into a furnished apartment, have your computer, have AC put in there, and then just kind of kick back and relax a little bit and bank your money and save as much money. Make a game out of it, do budgeting and just write down your budget to save money. You could be over here actually retired already while you're saving for your future retirement to make it even better. And some people aren't able to do this. If you're making decent money, you could do this. And it might mean not having a girlfriend or whatever in the beginning, or have a girlfriend that's working. If you have a girlfriend that's working and you're serious with her, both of you can probably save. Put the money aside, put it in a bank account or whatever, and that way there you have emergency money. You have future money to, fix up a place if you want to move later on when you decide to fully /retire, which you'll already be retired. It sounds kind of strange, but you'll be retired and saving for your retirement. And, technically people can do this. And some people also, and I want you to hear me on this because there's different ways to do this. Some people can take their job over here if they work online or something like that. And also some people are able to collect one pension in the beginning and they're waiting to collect their Social Security, or they're waiting to let their another pension to kick in because it's not high enough yet, and they have to wait a couple more years, and then that way they get the higher rate or whatever, even though they're not working anymore. If the longer they let it sit, the later they take it, the more value it has, and the more it's going to kick off in annuities or what have you. Now, this is why I'm talking about this, because some people can partially retire on one pension, but they can't on the other one, and it's not enough for them to survive, so they continue working. But today, with the high cost of living in the United States, they're still not able to save. It might be worth it for some people out there to let some things sit, such as Social Security, things like that, and bank a little bit of your money too, and just kind of kick back and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna save. I'm going to put some of my money away. I'll stay single for a while or whatever if I have to, or I'll have a girlfriend, and we'll have her move in and she can still work. And that's the key. She has to work too, because if otherwise this is not going to work for you. You really need to be able to kick that money in a bank here and keep on saving and keep on saving and keep on saving and keep doing it. And if possible, maybe you can put it into a CD. Every time you get $500 or $1,000, kick it into a CD, so you can get a bigger rate of return, so that 5 years from now, 7 years from now, whatever, you got even more for when you officially retire. It sounds kind of strange, but I kind of had the same thing, because when I retired at 55, I didn't have Social Security. I still don't have Social Security, and am I going to take it when I'm 62? I'm pretty sure I am, but I'm not 100% sure yet, because I'm not sure if I really need it yet, number one. And number two, if you don't need the money, why collect it? You'll just let it sit there and it ferments and gets better and better, and you have more money for later. So a lot of you guys, if you're able to live over here on your current pension or whatever, come over here and you're waiting to collect your Social Security, sometimes it's worth it to let that sit, especially if you're healthy and you think you're going to live to be like 85 or 90. Take a look at your past your relatives and see when they passed away, your mom, your dad, your grandparents and stuff like that. And if they died like in their late 80s, possibly 90s, or even 100, you may want to think about letting it sit and ferment there a little bit and get up, take it when you're 70 or something. And that way there you'll have a lot more income coming in. Now, all these are different ways, and we just talked about probably about 10 different ways that you can save over here to retire early. And you're going to be partially retired, but you'll really be truly retired because you're not working, but you're saving for your retirement still, because you're saving for a later date when you're probably going to need more money anyway because of inflation and stuff. And by the way, I always tell people in my budgets, when I say the $2,000 to $3,000 budget, I always tell people in there, and a lot of people don't pay attention to it because I call it the sweet spot budget, because you really need between $2,000 to $3,000 a month over here to live really well over here, okay? To live really well, to live the way most people want to live when they're retired. They want to live nice. They want to be happy. They want to be comfortable. They want to have AC. They want to be able to go out with their friends. They want to travel a little bit. But a lot of guys here, they're like a race to poverty or something like that, and they say, "Well, Steve, you don't have to live over here on that. You can live on." Yeah, of course you can live on less, but who wants to live on less? I want to live on a higher rate because of the fact that I'm retired. I want to be happy. Who doesn't want to be happy? All of us want to be happy in our retirement, But anyway, this like I said, there's more than one way over here to skin a cat over here, and you can consider that if you do something like this and you have your pension coming in, and you're working right now back in the States, and you want to be able to save, but you can't because of the cost of living, the cost of rent, the cost of your mortgage or what have you, and the cost of food over there, the cost of everything. It might be worth it for you to come over here and then bank the money that you're getting right now, bank some of it, and just kick back. Toy around on your computer, go out on a date, cheap date maybe, or have your girlfriend come over to your house, go walking, get yourself in shape down the gym. All these things that you can do while you're waiting to save that money for whatever you want to save it for, whatever amount it may be. If you can't save $500 or $1,000 back home, and you got a $2,000 pension coming in or something like that, but you're still working because you can't live off that back home, and you come over here, and some people could live on $800 or $700 if you wanted to. I'm not telling you to come over. You're still going to need insurance, health insurance, but usually the people that are going to retire early are not going to pay as much as somebody in their 70s and 80s. So that'll be part of your money that you're paying out. Your home would probably be about $125 for a furnished home, $150, somewhere around there for a halfway decent 1-bedroom. The rest of the stuff is just your AC, your food, maybe going out to dinner once in a while, stuff like that. But it's going to be to the point where you can still save some cash. And a lot of people don't consider that. I have some guys calling me all the time, and I tell them about this, and some guys actually consider it and actually have come over here, and it worked for them. Their first year, I talked to a guy, I think he was down in Davao. It was a guy who got his SRRV. He had like $1,200 coming in, and I told him, I said, that's a bit close. But what he did, he said he was going to save like $300 or $400 a month. He was going to get a cheap place in the outskirts of Davao there. And I don't know what the places down in Davao go for. I heard they're more expensive. I told him, I said, you might have to move and go someplace else to find cheaper apartments down there. And I've recommended my place. But he went down there and he just wanted to save like a little bit of money. And he also wanted to wait till one of his other things kicked in. I believe it was his Social Security, and he had some other sort of pension too. And that's the way to do it for some people. Now, not everybody can do this, but a lot of people can because they have the ability to do that depending on where they worked, how many places they worked at, were they military retirees, do they get a disability, do they get SSDI, things like that. All that stuff comes into play on this. And if you're making a certain amount, you can certainly come live over here and live fairly well, even when you're saving. I'm not saying great. You're not going to be up and traveling around and going out to dinner with all your friends and stuff. A lot of the time you're going to be home or going to a local mall or something like that. And maybe while you're out walking during the day, you shut off your AC, you save some more money. That's all money in your pocket. And eating less. Maybe most of us guys in our 50s, 60s, and 70s are slightly overweight. So you could cut back on your food during this time, better yourself. And by the time you get to that point where you're ready to retire, you're healthy, you're thinner. You probably, if you're pre-diabetic, you're probably not pre-diabetic anymore. It'll help your blood pressure. If you go to the gym, you're going to be 10 times healthier if you spend that time wisely going to the gym and stuff. You can spend it reading, learning things, learning hobbies, learning an instrument during this time, and bettering yourself still for your retirement. So you can do things like play the guitar or something like that. Maybe you join a band or form a band. You could. There's tons of things you can do. You can read up on things, take online courses, whatever you want to do. You could take up carpentry or something like that. All this stuff you can do while you're waiting to, get your other check, because you're not going to be able to do as much, but you have hobbies. You're not going to be able to do things that are costly. I'll say that. So do things that are cheaper and enjoy your life. Get ready for your retirement, and you don't even have to work to save that money. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. This is an idea that somebody was talking about on another vlog a long, long time ago. And I heard it, and this is probably like going back about 8 years ago. And I remember hearing about that, and I was like, I want to retire at 55, and I might have to do something like this. And sure enough, I retired at 55. And this is like kind of some of the stuff that I use, some of the ideas that I used, to come over here. You have to have a plan. Of course, there's other ways to do this, not just the ones I just mentioned. There's tons of ways you can switch things around and sell things off, sell a home back home. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.